Charlotte asked us, because of the new administration coming in next week, to actually talk about the current economic climate and how I see the Biden administration being much different than the Trump administration. The Trump administration from day one has always said America first, and you could actually see that in the international relations. His first meeting with Angela Merkel basically said, first words out of his mouth is "you owe me," and his comments were related to NATO's participation in the budget and how much the United States contributes to NATO's budget versus his Americans, versus the Europeans, I should say. We see that Biden he's a statesman, he's a diplomat, he's been in the White House before as vice president under President Obama. He's been a senator, he's traveled the world. And so we anticipate that his cabinet is going to be much more respectful and cooperative with our international partners, wherever they are. But we at the same time see that there's probably not going to be immediate foreign policy changes between the US, especially in Iran and also in China. Both are very much looking at China as being the country that wants to take over the world. And so they view the Chinese as not just a political or economic risk, but also a military one. And so we don't see a big change in that particular policy, but we do see a big change between, let's say, our European partners and our Canadian partners, and it'll be much more on a dialogue as opposed to instituting immediate tariffs just because he wants to make a point. When you do, there's quite a bit of talk with Britain, now the UK exiting the European Union through Brexit, and now that is in full swing, that there will be a UK-US trade agreement, free trade agreement, and it could be as soon as this year. The Canadians are a little ahead of us on this point, and from a historical point of view, that makes sense. The United States would probably be one of the first countries that would have a free trade agreement with the UK coming up. Again, the expectation is sometime in this in 2021. We do have a new agreement with the Canadians and our Mexicans in the USMCA agreement. Many people have said, hey, this is a great agreement. And if you really look at some of the key aspects of that particular free trade agreement, it's the major differences between that and the older agreement, NAFTA, is mostly on the automotive side and the labor side. But fundamentally, there wasn't a big change between the new agreement and the old agreement. There are some improvements from the American point of view and maybe on the Mexican point of view, but it settled a lot of issues that the Trump administration set out, specifically on the steel and aluminum tariffs as well. And so we anticipate that following the pandemic, that the international relations between our neighbors is going to be much improved. But let's be clear that the first, in the first 2021, the first priority for the Biden administration is going to be, one, the pandemic, two, recovery of the US economy, and then they'll be looking at foreign relations. So if you're looking for immediate changes in foreign policy, there will be some changes, but I don't expect those changes to be immediate because we have the two other much bigger problems in front of us. And finally, next slide. So on the economic side, we anticipate, many economists anticipate that we had a deep recession in the second quarter, like all of us did, especially in Europe as well. where you had a growing economy in the first quarter, and then come the February, March, and it just fell off with the lockdowns. Many of us are still in lockdowns. The UK is in a lockdown. Other parts of Europe is in a lockdown. So what we're seeing is a big jump in the third quarter and a gradual increase in employment and economic activity in the fourth quarter. And this is expected to continue through 2021. But economists here in the US expect that the US economy will be back to pre-COVID levels by mid of next year, not this year. The Biden administration has now majorities, or can control the majorities in both houses of Congress. And so we anticipate another stimulus bill that was passed, will be passed in the first 100 days of the Biden administration. They are very much so, we just got every individual in America, every US citizen and resident that just got another $600 on January 4th. We anticipate that there's going to be another stimulus to help out the states, universities, schools, the vaccination rollout, and probably another $1 trillion to $2 trillion in the next 3 months. And therefore, we anticipate there's going to be an improved regulatory climate, especially for the international businesses. We really don't know what that's going to look like. We're going to wait, but the cabinet is very diverse, the most diverse cabinet that any American presidential administration has had. So we're really interested to see what it's going to look like on the international side, but also on the domestic side. What we're recommending to companies that are looking to establish their business here in the US is that we use 2021 as a groundwork, build your base, do your market research, do your business planning, set the foundation in 2021. And as the economy improves over the next year and into 2022, then you can ride the wave, I would say, to actually expand and actually benefit from the growth of the economy later this year and into 2022. So we're recommending companies do their groundwork now, and we have been doing that for a couple of our clients right now. And then we go into the execution phase later this year and into 2022. And that's about sums it up, Charlotte. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Charlotte, for the opportunity to speak this morning, afternoon, and evening.
Thank you very much, Ken, for not only a great presentation of your company and also the big middle hotspot where we should go, we should look, but also the outlook you've given on the US.